Hi everyone, I'm Marc DiBenedetto alongside Taylor Denson and Stu Lovejoy, along with the future of the Trinity Sports Network, Bart Harvey. Casey Clark decided that he wanted to be a typical Miami Dolphins fan and was too afraid of the cold, but it couldn't be more exciting. Trinity looks to invade Wesleyan this week with a 7-0 record and come out with the first undefeated season since 2008. TSN Football coming at you! My focus of the week is on Trinity playing on a grass field. You can ask any of the players if there's a difference between playing on grass and turf, and it doesn't take long for their eyes to light up. Taking repetition after repetition on turf, the body memorizes certain cuts and digs that are different when taken on inconsistent grass fields. With this week's weather likely to make Wesleyan's field even sloppier, don't be surprised if the Bantams look a little out of sync early on in the game. To prepare for this, the Bantams have and will continue to practice on the Trinity grass rugby field in order to create an easier transition to the game on the grass on Saturday.
My focus of the week this week is to stick with the running game. It's clear how the Bantams have been able to come away with 7 wins so far this season, and that is from the running game. If the Bantams are going to want to claim the coveted undefeated season on Saturday, they are going to want the ball in the hands of the two-headed monster that is Evan Bunker and Ben Crick. So far this season, the Bantams are averaging 300 yards on the ground, and Bunker is having a remarkable season, averaging 6.1 yards per rush, accumulating a total of 1,136 yards and 10 touchdowns. The Wesleyan defense will have no answer for this unstoppable force, and the Bantams will rush to another NESCAC title and an undefeated season.
My focus this week is simple, being the first team to score. If we look a little deeper though, we can see that the 2 games Wesleyan has lost against Amherst and Williams, the opposing team scored first and continued to remain in the lead the entire game, only allowing Wesleyan to score 16 points total in both contests. On the other hand, out of Wesleyan's 5 wins, 4 of which were started by the Cardinals, they got into the end zone first both times. Being able to score first sets the tone for the entire game and says a lot about the mindset of the team. This was pretty evident in the Bantams' performance in the first half of the Amherst game last weekend. A half of football that led many to believe the Bantams might not be able to pull it out. The Trinity squad needs to come out strong this weekend against Wesleyan in order to secure the undefeated season that we're all holding our breath for.
My focus of the week is bringing a ring back to the coop. Trinity has already clinched at least a share of the NESCAC championship, but what a win on Saturday awards the football team what it really wants: an undefeated season, a NESCAC championship, a championship ring, which would be the first since 2008. They face a Wesleyan team who is productive through the air and on the ground, averaging 381 yards per game. However, Wesleyan is beaten up on the worst teams in the conference. The opponents from their 5 wins have a combined record of 8-27, and 3 of those opponents do not have more than 1 win this season. Expect the Bantams to travel to Wesleyan and show the Cardinal why they are the dominant program in the NESCAC, and come back to the coop with an 8-0 record and a NESCAC championship ring.
My player to watch for this week is the star of the Bantam offense, running back number 22, Evan Bunker. With 215 yards and a huge clutch performance against Amherst, Bunker moved his season total to 1,136 yards. More importantly, he brought his career total to 2,926 yards, just 23 yards shy of Trinity's all-time rushing record of 2,949 yards, held by the class of 1970 graduate David Kiarsis. I expect Bunker to pick up those 23 yards on Saturday and break the all-time Trinity rushing record. Additionally, I expect him to compile at least 74 total yards in the game and become the first player in Trinity college history to compile 3,000 career rushing yards, all while leading Trinity to a victory over Wesleyan in an 8-0 NESCAC championship season. Oh, and don't forget, Bunker still has his entire senior season to play.
Player to watch this week is wide receiver Chris Ragone. The Bantam offense has been gradually increasing the amount of playing time for the young wide receiver. Ragone has totaled 4 catches and 106 yards over the past 2 weeks, and will look to reel in a few more this week against a Wesleyan pass defense that has allowed an average of 193 yards this season. Head coach Jeff Devaney is looking for a sophomore wide receiver to play a bigger role in order to prepare for the departure of senior Drew Grombala. Look for Ragone to become heavily integrated into the offense this week and plan on seeing a lot of him in the future.
My player to watch for this week is number 51, Tom Szymanski. The sophomore outside linebacker is consistently one of the most essential yet overlooked players in the Trinity defensive unit. Leading the team in tackles with 39 and tied in the lead in tackles for a loss, Szymanski is one of those players who just goes about his work on the field, getting it done each time and every time. Last weekend against Amherst, Szymanski was part of 2 key third down tackles in the first half that forced punts and a joint tackle with teammate Rob Gow in the third quarter that stalled an Amherst drive that started on Trinity's 38, limiting them to only a field goal. Additionally, Szymanski's only sack in the season was at a crucial moment in the first half of the Tufts game a few weeks ago, which led to a punt and then the Bantams' opening drive score. Key stops like these will periodically keep the Trinity Bantams in the game and give them the much-needed edge. Remember to look out for number 51, Tom Szymanski, this weekend at Wesleyan and for the rest of his undoubtedly spectacular Trinity career.
My player to watch is senior wide receiver, number 7, Drew Grombala. The Cincinnati native is the veteran leader of the Bantam receiving corps, and in his third year starting, Grombala has racked up career highs with 17 receptions, 241 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns. Grombala is one of the most sure-handed receivers on the Bantams roster, and when quarterback Ryan Burgess drops back to pass, you can bet Grombala will haul in anything coming his way. Coming off a productive week against Amherst, look for Grombala to repeat that success and haul in at least 1 touchdown in his last game as a Bantam. Lock it up, because that's a TD guarantee.
Okay guys, time to pick them. I think the Trinity's going to get off to a slow start, but with the undefeated season on the line, they pick up momentum in the second half and pull away 34-17. Bart?
I have a similar prediction, Mark. I think they're going to hand the ball off to Bunker and he's going to take care of the rest. And I think Trinity will win 34-10.
I agree with you guys. I think Trinity actually comes in, completely destroys Wesleyan, picks up the NESCAC championship ring, 38-7 Bantams.
Guys, I think we all agree Bantam's going to come out with a win here, but with the conditions of the field, with the grass you were saying earlier, Mark, it's going to be a little bit of a slower game, so I'm going to give it to the Trinity Bantams, nonetheless, 28-14.
Well, that does it. The 39th episode of TSN Football is a wrap. It was my 22nd and final episode. I just want to take a moment to thank all the fans that have been watching us over the past 3 years. I know a lot of parents are pretty big fans. A lot of friends back home have been keeping up with the show. Special shout out to my good buddy Kevin Keys down at Ole Miss, who I know has never missed an episode. As well, I wanted to send a special shout out to Joey Roberts and Matt Sullivan, the founders of TSN. You guys have been there every step of the way to help me out with any issues I've had, always a phone call away. And finally, I just want to send a thank you to the players. You guys have been great to cover, always a pleasure. From Ryan Burgess and Nick Campbell to Walter Fallis and Iman Hannafin. I never met a Trinity football player I didn't like. So, you know, I know how hard you guys work, and you deserve every bit of success that ever comes your way. So, for the final time from the campus of Trinity College, I'm Marc DiBenedetto, TSN.